utilised a long drop dry composting toilet system, and it was doable, but I guess you've got to pay a lot of attention to the direction of the prevailing wind, etc., when you're setting these things up. I don't imagine it'd endear you too much to the local community if the wind's blowing in their direction.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's always got to do that job. So credit where it's due. Now, as for building,
to share these jobs.
Yeah, I would, at the risk of sounding like an old Marxist, I'd have to say that if you're using it, then at some point you're going to have to get your sleeves rolled up and do something with the maintenance. And
yeah, that's fine. If enough of you said that to me, I'd be persuaded to do it. Then I'd do it with honour.
At Q, and it was about what jobs needed doing, and then it got to the point where certain people were doing that job all the time.
Yeah,
and they were like, it was like, right, who hasn't done it ever yet?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You look down and you see the ones looking shifty who haven't put their hand up.
Exactly.
Have you
Technically,
done it? No.
It's just it's an eco-village version of the Big Brother house, isn't it, really?
I'd say it was like Monty Python. It was definitely like living like a Monty Python scene the whole time.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I've been thinking about quite a lot since you guys left the northeast is what type of heated shower mechanism I could possibly build. What methods have you guys got, or what you've seen, or what you've used before?
I've heard that you can make a fire, and when you put liquid in a vessel that will hold the liquid and put it on top of the fire, it heats it up. And then when you put that in your body, it's actually quite soothing.
Right, yeah, that sounds like sort of hippie nonsense to me, if you ask me.
We basically, Steve, the one that found the land, he's a fully qualified plumber. And
all right.
He's got some really interesting... Yeah, well, basically, he wants to get hooked up to the water supply. Then we'll link it off to our own heater, or heat up our own water, and then it'll be like, power showers. Why not? Why can't eco-warriors have power showers?
I've seen some interesting stuff done where people have taken house radiators off scrap merchants, painted them matte black, and mounted them on the roof, and you'd be surprised how hot the water can be.
Yeah, definitely. Because Glastonbury, the people we were camped with, they had just a bag, a shower bag it was called, full of water on top of their caravan, camper van. And in the middle of the day, it got boiling hot. Do you know what I mean?
Solar showers, you can buy them for...
burn your skin off.
Yeah.
That was another good thing about Glastonbury. We tried to do it with as less money as possible. And I didn't have a penny, and I'd done the whole thing without a penny. We went there with...
A tenner, wasn't it?
A tenner and a bag of potatoes, a bag of carrots, some cheese spread,
really nice bread,
and 24 beers. And when we got there, the plan was to sell the beers for £2 a can. Very easy at Glastonbury. But then, Mirthful had a conversation and decided to just hand out all the beers we had to the people we were camped with, and share our meal with us. Yeah, and basically it all come back to us.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, it's like, right, we're saying we want to get away from the monetary system, and we didn't have any money, and there was all this, oh God, we're going to Glastonbury, we haven't got any money, and it's always so expensive,
Yeah.
And I was working there, but I wasn't getting paid till after, because I got paid some expenses, so that wasn't going to help. And then I just thought, well, we're trying to get away from the monetary system, why not, let's do it, it's like, it just seemed to make sense in that place, where I've been so many times, and so has Dom, that it'd be a really good sort of exercise in just people learning to share with each other. And I've done it before there, like I've been sort of smoking spliffs, and as I've been walking along, I had this Glastonbury I just handed, if I'd sort of like had enough of it, I'd hand it on to somebody walking in the other direction, and there was a real lot of people started doing that year. It was really interesting,
Yeah.
Absolutely. A relevant question that's come in that is relevant for what we were talking about before the break it's from Chris, and he's asking, do you have a simple bullet point list of what to do in terms of sort of looking for the land, sorting the land, organising folk, and managing it? Have you made an actual list, or is it all sort of pretty much winging it?
Well, yeah, well, it's all in our head, mainly. We've got a scrapbook, which Mirthful's been jotting in, like, every time we get decent information. But we haven't really had the time to sit down. It's like, well, have you got that website up and running yet, Mike?
Yep, that one is ready right now, and you can log into that one any second, actually, which we can get onto.
Okay.
But that
Maybe
we might as well
logging on that.
Yeah, we might as well give the address out for anyone listening, because it's visible, and all you need to do is start logging in. You can do your diaries on there as well, and that would freemanecovillage.wordpress.com. So once you can join that, log in there, and you can start obviously keeping everyone updated, all the different areas. Which areas did you? Because obviously you visited us here in the northeast. Which other areas did you go before us, and where did you go after?
Birmingham was where we started off. Then we went to Liverpool, and a little place outside Liverpool, Crosby, sort of an area. Then we came to Sunderland, Durham, Newcastle. Before that, Scotch Corner with Angela, and then Hull. Then we came back to St Albans for Magna Carta weekend, which we were just shattered. So it was kind of like we rested more than were rebellious.
Absolutely.
And then we hitched to Stonehenge for solstice, and then Glastonbury Festival, and then back to London, to this site, and then to St Albans to see my children for a few days, and then back to London again, I suppose.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little groups that are now networking, and there's some good possibilities for somewhere to build. I mean, when you come up here next, we've been talking about some quite large sites that would be ideal. So next time you come up, we're definitely gonna hit those and check those out. So, which other places are you confident that we may get something up and running? Which other cities or towns?
Obviously, like your area, there's definitely going to be one going. I was thinking, and Hull. Birmingham, not too sure if it is going to get up and running or not. Maybe later on when they see the other ones take off. I'm not too sure, because I don't know, that people are a bit wary about what's going to work. At the end of the day, Mike, me and you had that little chat, and we know that things are not going to work straight off, so we've got to prepare ourselves for that, but to learn from the loss. When we do lose in the court, we've got the evidence of how we lost, so we'll just look it up on how we can get a remedy and work our way around to freedom.
Absolutely, definitely. And
I think that what Chris was asking about, to go back to what kind of land. I think that, like, when we were looking at places, of thinking Sunderland, where there might be places that have got are not suitable for living on. It'd be nice, I think, to have like a base where you have got an eco-village, but then also open up other bits of land as allotments. And I think it's like, when you're looking at the land, thinking about what you have to offer to the community. Like, that's really important. If you're looking at it from that angle, right, okay, if we come here, what benefit are we going to be? And showing people an alternative way, giving people access to information about what food they can actually eat. It's like the other day, we were just walking down the road, weren't we, Don? And we were there were some cherries, and like down on the floor. And we saw the cherries on the tree, and it's just on the road near where my children lives. And this woman, who's looked like, educated woman with her little child, was like, "Are you sure they're cherries?" And really, really, like, people are nervous about picking anything. It looks like a cherry, it feels like a cherry, it tastes like a cherry, but is it a cherry? And
people have lost their ability to judge.
People don't even pick blackberries. They don't pick anything. There's crab apples and cherries growing all over St Albans, walnut trees and everything, and they just drop on the floor.
I would mark a note of caution with people about picking stuff. Be very careful about picking anything at the side of roads and whatnot, because from what I understand, that sort of environment leaves a lot of the berries and stuff absolutely toxic pollution. So try and stay away from urban areas as much as possible. But other than that, fill your boots and learn what you can eat and what you can't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also think, though, they can't be any worse than the things coming out of the supermarkets for the amount of shit that's in them. And
there's plenty of foraging to be done in local public parks, believe it or not. You'd see wild onions growing, wild garlic, wild chives, and it's all just growing freely, and you can walk along and pick it up. We're meeting up with Danny Allen and his girlfriend tomorrow, and we're going to be going out doing some foraging because they've been getting really into foraging. And there's so much that we can learn from each other, just sharing these little experiences and then passing it on. And then at the end of the day, it's like the corporations that are controlling us, even down to like things like Tesco's. You go in Tesco's just wanting a pint of milk and a loaf of bread, and you come out like with a whole trolley load of stuff, and you think, what's gone on there? You get hypnotised as soon as you go through the door. So it's just the whole huge monetary scam of learning how to step away from it, and I think foraging is definitely one of the key points to it.
That's an issue to address as well, because when we were talking, one of the main, well, I wouldn't say main, but one of the useful ways of collecting food without going and buying it is the late night or early morning skips from the large corporations where they're throwing out perfectly good food. Whether it's perfectly good is obviously the arguable point. When you've built an eco-village, you want to grow really good food on the land, but you're still prepared to take the thrown away food from the bins of the supermarkets. I mean, what do you both think about that?
Oh yeah, of course. We do it all the time because, like, at the end of the day, one of our good mates, Mark, one of his thought patterns was if he doesn't take everything out of the skip that's in there that is edible, it's only going to go to like a landfill anyway, so it's destroying the land anyway. So he's taking stuff out, and then when we come back actually from you guys, when we got back to London, we had a few things like a loaf of bread in the bag, bits of cheese, tomatoes, things like that. And the first thing we saw at Victoria Station was in the public like day, people walking past, and this guy's going through the bins. So it's like, you're obviously hungry, aren't you, mate? Gave him a loaf of bread, gave him some tomatoes, some cheese, and it's just a way of helping other people because there's so many people out there that are in dire straits nowadays.
Yeah, that's it. And plus, it normally comes back many times over, at least anyway. So you always know if you're gonna give something out, even if it means you've got a lot less, the chances are, if you've got the right intent, it's going to come back.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, at the end of the day, the reward was in giving it, I think, as much as anything else.
Yeah.
But
even if
obviously there are other benefits to giving stuff out, like it encourages people to do the same thing. But at the end of the day,
selfless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just because it'll come back to you, but it's because you can. And like I said, more power to you guys for having the presence of mind to do it because you could. Because you're never going to see that guy again, but you definitely affected his life that day, and that can only be a good thing.
You don't know where, when you sort of like just say something to somebody, even if you don't have anything material to give, even if you just give them a moment of your time or something, You just don't know where that will lead, that it's like I used to work in a pub, and before that I was doing my puppetry, and I've been a staff nurse, and the thing that helps people the most is when you really are present, like with them, and you just, it's like I used to say, because like I worked in this pub, and some of the bar staff would take the piss out of certain customers who'd come in, the kind of odd ones, the ones that were a little bit different. And I used to say something is, you don't know what's happened to that in that man or woman's life that day. You don't know. It could have been something awful, and then people pick up when you do that, and just being kind could make the difference between you never seeing that man again